Thank you very much for tuning into this video here. We're talking about medical assistance in dying, we should require the procedure or I should say, we should require that an anesthesiologist be present in administering the drugs that is required for sedation. I had an uncle who was an anesthesiologist, wonderful guy. He's passed away now, but he's the father of my cousins and all this stuff. So really, truly, a great guy. He was his father, which was my grandfather, was a doctor. My grandfather was a doctor. So I do know what I'm talking about, and this argument has merit, right? This argument surely has merit. All right, so let's read a little bit. Core ethical concerns with medical assistance in dying and anesthesia. So MAID without an anesthesiologist is unethical. In any setting involving life-ending drugs, pain management and sedation are essential. Failing to include anesthesia risks subjecting patients to immense suffering in their final moments. This violates the basic standards of medical care. Even simple surgeries require anesthesiologists, but ending a life does not? Right? It's inconsistent, unsafe, and ethically indefensible. Right. So these arguments are put forth to do what? Why are we doing this? To say why do you have to say everything we're doing is wrong? Number one, it's wrong. To put this guy. To paralyze him and then fill his lungs up with the fluid is extremely painful. It's also burning of the vein. Burning of the veins is extremely painful. It's a painful death, and he can't even scream or anything. It's a really, really painful death. Oh, who cares? The guy's going to die anyways. Okay, you want to go that way. It's going to cost too much. Well, sure, if that's if that's the kind of arguments you want to put forward. But and that's the thing. It is happening, right? This is happening, right? That these extremely painful procedures are happening. The paralytic agents are making sure that the guy doesn't scream or anything. But don't get me wrong. If the guy was able to scream, he'd be screaming. Well, if he could, I mean, his lungs would be filled with fluid and all that stuff. But it's extremely painful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it is extremely painful. And this isn't a pro-life or pro-MAID debate issue, so I don't. I've never on this channel. I've never said I'm pro life or pro-MAID. I've never talked about that because it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is it's on the law, but it is decriminalized. So I don't think it'll ever be lawful to kill somebody, but it is decriminalized for the sake of compassion. But it's not very compassionate because you're causing agony, untold amounts of this is 11 level 11 type of torture here. It's really, really bad, right? This is extremely painful. I mean, I wouldn't be making this video if it wasn't the case, right? So it's not about that. Oh, I don't agree with MAID, or I think we should, or it's not about that. No matter where you stand on MAID, this issue matters, right? Supporting a person's right to die should never mean abandoning the duty to provide comfort, dignity, and medical best practices. Right? Both sides should agree. No one should suffer through a botched, painful death. It's about basic human decency and professional ethics. Even if a person chooses MAID, they still deserve peace and not trauma. Right? So let's say, for example, I got some sort of, terminal illness. I don't know, whatever you want to say. A terminal illness. Okay, this guy's going to die, but what's the point in simply existing and living a life you sticking needles in you all the time? It's just a terrible existence and all that stuff. Okay, whatever. It's not about that. It's about in that final moment. Are you going to be bombarded with we talked about the basic procedure on a second or third video there on the channel. You can check that out. It's painful, man. It's not a picnic. It really, really is. So there should be an anesthesiologist there that will sedate the patient. Okay, so the role of local institutions like the Clare Health Center, right? I'm very, very critical of this thing because we are forced to pay taxes that will go into these wacky programs brought to you by the Clare Health Center. All right, so local health centers may be cutting corners to save money. Avoiding the cost of an anesthesiologist means higher risk, less dignity, and more suffering. This could be about budget priorities, not patient well being, and throwing the vulnerable under the bus. And this is society's most vulnerable, right? This is the people that we should raise our voices for, right? So when someone is near death and requesting MAID, they are at their most vulnerable. Certainly, and this video is absolutely not to speak badly about these guys. I think nobody's going to, suggest that, but failing to offer full pain management betrays the very trust patients place in the medical system. All right, so I think there's a little bit too much trust in the medical system. I think they failed us one too many times. All right, this is a clear-cut example of, they'd rather, but he's going to die anyway. What's the point? I mean, yeah, who cares if we got an anesthesiologist? If you want to put that idea out, it really shows the kind of person that you are. You don't care about these people suffering and all this stuff. It is painful. It certainly is. All right, you're not going to have a picnic when you're being administered lethal drugs. I mean, it's not a paralytic agent and a minor sedative. It's not going to cut it. You need an anesthesiologist there that has been trained in that kind of stuff. I mean, so why they might not change? So this it's probably going to go nowhere, right? It's me talking about it is just going to be another one of these, me just pointing out the clear cut negligence that this is medical neglect. This is this is a straight up crime. I mean, but they're not complaining, so yeah. They're not complaining because they're dead, but at the moment of death, they suffer tremendous pain. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not a joke. I mean, this is a real thing. The second that paralytic agent, is in contact with the system, they're not going to be able to scream and cry out for, you stop, I changed my mind, and all this stuff. An anesthesiologist is required. This argument has merit. So why they might not change? And why you should speak out. So they likely won't admit the mistake. Bureaucracies often protect the system instead of fixing errors, and that's why public pressure and awareness are crucial. It forces accountability. Silence is complicity. If people who know better don't speak up, these unethical practices will continue unchallenged. So we get some, not very many, but some people that are interested in accountability for the public servants. I hesitate to call them that, but they are public servants. They're supposed to serve us, right? We are not supposed to bow down to them like our overlords. They are supposed to be our servants, and they should feel privileged to be in that position, right? That's all for today. We gotta go. Take care. Bye bye.